our challenges have to be seen from spiritual eyes as we walk with the Spirit, because that's the only way forgiveness makes sense.
Happy Thanksgiving and welcome back to another week of Behind and Beyond. I'm Allison, and this week I get to sit down with Pastor Dave as we discuss the sermon from this past weekend. Dave?
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you.
Where does this holiday rank in your holiday rankings?
Not super high.
No.
I know. I don't know people who love Thanksgiving. But I'm just like, I'm a Christmas person.
You don't
I'm
love
ready
the food?
I like the food. It's
You don't
fine.
like to say thank you to people?
I like to think I say thank you all year round. And so who
You
needs
don't need
one
a
day?
holiday just to remind you.
That's right.
You're a grateful person.
That's right.
Well played.
I know. I don't know. I feel like that's bad to say that Thanksgiving is not one of my top favorites. But
this is an opinion.
It's your favorite, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I like a lot of holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's up there. Yeah.
I just really, really love Christmas.
I love Christmas.
I kind of feel like, oh gosh, I don't even know if I can say this out loud, but I kind of feel like Thanksgiving, I'm just like waiting to get through so I can get to the Christmas piece. I'm like,
oh my gosh,
like even decorating things like that.
That turkey paid a sacrifice for you, and you're just getting through that turkey to get to Christmas.
Well, I feel like I'm like, oh,
we're grateful for that turkey.
I am like, there's part of me that's like, okay, let's just hurry and speed this along, which is not, I should be grateful and I should enjoy my time with my family.
I'm sure you do.
But I am ready to get
it's okay.
to
It's an
the
opinion
Christmas
question.
Season. Yeah.
So, yeah, I love the meal. I do. I love eating turkey, gravy. We make dressing. Yeah. Not necessarily stuffing.
Okay, well, that's what, I was going to ask you, actually, I feel like we've talked about our favorite Thanksgiving foods before, but what do you think's the food that is most, like, overrated?
Overrated?
Yeah, like.
Anything with sweet potatoes in it.
Really?
I cannot eat sweet potatoes. They will not. I have tried. Yeah. As a kid, as a teenager, as an adult, they won't they won't go.
The texture?
I don't know what it is. I'm not a texture guy. Like I'm just like, there's something about the taste of them. I can't swallow them. Like they won't. I think when you're a little kid and you're like, I can't eat these. My mom was like, just eat them.
Brown sugar and marshmallows.
No, the sweet potato taste comes through. I've had sweet potato fries too, and like one or two.
Oh, you don't like
that?
But
by
either.
the third one, I'm like, yeah, can I have a regular potato, not these orange ones or whatever color they are? So that's the most overrated one. And Brooke makes this, like everybody loves it. It's virtually dessert, like the sweet potato casserole thing. Okay. And I always look at it. I'm like, it looks really good, but I won't even touch that thing. So yeah. Easy answer for me. Overrated.
Well, I was going to say, that's how I feel about stuffing / dressing. You do? Which I know that's like your favorite, right?
I love it.
So,
I love dressing. Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe I just never had really great.
Ours has like sausage and mushroom, and then of course like the breadcrumb, like all kind of baked together. It's really good.
There's something about soggy bread that just doesn't really appeal to me.
Yeah, I think.
And Zach's family always made it with like olives and sometimes like
that sounds fun.
Seafood even in it, and I was like,
I don't think that sounds fun.
Wild.
Not seafood. Wrong holiday. Save that for Christmas.
I know. I don't know.
Come on, Zach's family.
I was like, this is not my thing. But even my family just made like the Stouffer's, and
Stouffer's is great.
Yeah, but no, I don't like it.
Stovetop.
It's just kind of like stuffing, if I'm gonna eat bread, if I'm gonna eat carbs, give me like all the potatoes and mac and cheese.
They're there too.
And rolls.
Yeah.
So
we're adding mac and cheese to our menu this year. Yeah. So new addition. It'll be interesting to see how the family and guests respond to that. I love mac and cheese.
Yeah, me too.
I do. I love it. So yeah.
Okay, I have a serious question for you.
What is the serious question?
Okay, so Zach's family's huge. We go have Thanksgiving kind of with Zach's side of the family first, and then we go to my family. His family, we do too. We do. It is a lot. And so and tri-state. We go from Pennsylvania to Ohio to West Virginia. So we hit it all. Wow. But Zach's family is huge. There's like 40 people at this Thanksgiving dinner. Wow. And when I married in, it was kind of like everybody had their thing, like grandma brings the pie and so Auntie Di makes the sweet potatoes. And so it's kind of like, what do I bring? So my family does deviled eggs at Thanksgiving.
Awesome.
But Zach's family was like, deviled eggs, that is not a Thanksgiving food. So I take a poll. What do you think?
I'm a generally gracious person, so I'm like, yeah, bring the deviled eggs.
Oh, but you would not think that's a Thanksgiving.
I wouldn't put it as a Thanksgiving. I don't think the Pilgrims had that. Like in the original one, I don't think they were deviled eggs.
But mac and cheese, they did.
They did not have mac and cheese either. No. I don't even know. They probably had corn and deer. Who knows? Yeah, bring them. I would bring them. Yeah. I love deviled eggs.
Yeah, like, to me it is a Thanksgiving food, like a clear Thanksgiving food.
And it's a Thanksgiving food. Yeah. I'm great with that.
Yeah. Just, I guess, whatever you want to make a Thanksgiving
We make smoked deviled eggs when I'm running the smoker.
Yeah.
Have you ever had those?
No, that sounds amazing.
You make the deviled egg.
Yeah.
And you just smoke them like low temp for about an hour. And, they get like a harder crust to them.
That's
a little
genius.
snap. They're really good.
That sounds amazing.
Like really good.
I could eat a whole tray of deviled eggs. Just, they're so...
My son, Nico, could see your tray and add a second one. He loves deviled eggs. He loves them. Yeah. Like, especially the smoked ones. So, yeah.
I have had deep fried ones before.
I've never had that.
That's at a restaurant.
How do they bread that?
Well, they deep fried the
egg.
The white part of it. And then put the yolk in under.
Hey, forget the sermon. Let's talk
food. I know.
Today.
Okay. Hey, but you know what? Let's jump into the sermon.
Here we go.
Speaking of...
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We got a listener question this week. We've been getting one particular listener question that I haven't really brought to the podcast because it has been a repeated question.
So it's consistent.
It is the primary question we've gotten this whole series.
I'm nervous now.
Do you want to take a guess or do you want me to surprise you?
Okay. I don't have any guesses left.
It is. What is the song on this bumper video?
Oh my gosh.
Everybody loves the song.
Everybody does love that. Tony did an awesome job singing it.
On the bumper video.
Somebody asked me that, and I think I failed to get back to them.
Okay, well, I've got the answer here.
You do?
Do you know? I do.
I don't, but I was just going to say, like, hey, just next time, you don't have to wait 10 weeks. There's an app for that. You can open that app up. Shazam, I think was the original one. You could determine what a song is by opening the app.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the Northway app. I thought you were plugging. You can ask your questions.
No, the Apple App Store, or if you have an Android, get an Apple phone and then go to the Apple App Store. I'm just kidding. Are you an Apple person?
Yes.
So what's the song?
It's called Day or Night by Jervis Campbell.
Jervis. That's a fun name.
I think that's how you say it.
Okay.
So yeah. Okay, everybody. So you've got
Say it again.
Day or Night by Jervis Campbell.
Just in time for Christmas.
There you go. Or your holiday travels. You can play his album as you're driving. Check out some new music.
Tony version? Tony's the worship leader at Wexford?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know if there's an answer to that.
I don't think
there is a Spotify.
It's a catchy song.
They made a Spotify playlist for this sermon series.
Really?
So, yeah, if you had signed up for the Wilderness Guide, I assume you can still do it through the
You can.
app.
I think it's on the app. Yeah.
It also comes with a playlist.
Oh,
so it'll have the song and additional songs. So there you go. For your holiday travels, everyone.
That's
something to listen to.
Very, very fun. So awesome. Did the person keep asking this week after week after week?
No, these are all different people.
Oh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We've gotten multiple
that's
people.
Even more fun.
Yeah,
in my mind,
people.
I was like, man, we have let one person down. We've gone weeks and ignored this person. And they're now at a different church.
No. Generally, when I get this question, I just shoot them an email and respond to them the answer. And I just don't bring it onto the podcast.
Got it.
But I thought at this point,
got it.
we need to make a public declaration.
Declaration
of the
has
song.
been made.
Yeah, so there it is. Okay, well, getting into the sermon, anything that you wanted to explore that you don't have time for?
No, I'll just share that I asked in a very, very vulnerable moment, I asked somebody to rate my sermon. And they gave me, is it called with bated breath? There was time.
Yes,
there was a very pregnant pause, if you will. The person gave me a number.
Yeah.
And while waiting for that number, I thought, oh, this is fun. And then the longer it took, I was like, this isn't good. This isn't good. And then they gave me a nice number. So I feel great. I feel like I need to share that.
Do you want to explain that was my 11-year-old that you...
It was Allison's son, and he gave me an 8.5.
Yeah,
graciously.
Which I think,
So
he would never... I mean,
I'll take that.
He's not a...
I'll take 8.5 over and over and over again.
To get a 10 from him. So 8.5 is pretty high.
Great. There are some people who, when they rate stuff, they'll never say 10.
Yeah.
Because there's always room to improve.
Yeah.
So... And then I have some people. I'm in a small group, and one of the ways we're supposed to start is like, hey, just give yourself a number 1 to 10. How are you? How's life, ministry, all that kind of stuff. And there's some people who give like 3 digits past the decimal point.
Whoa.
Yeah, and I'm exaggerating, but and then there's other people who are like, I don't do numbers. So everybody's in between.
Yeah,
everybody has a different view of that. Deviled eggs, 3.74169 or no number, whatever. To each his own. 8.5 though from your son. I'll take it.
Yeah, I mean, he thought about it for a long time. I thought it was pretty
awesome.
Bold of you to ask because he will never lie. So
I didn't necessarily know what I was getting into.
Yeah.
So I was thrilled. So back to your original question, what was it? Anything?
Yeah, just anything else that you wanted to talk about or felt like you
I don't think so.
Explore?
Yeah, I mean, that wasn't the passage I was supposed to teach on.
Oh, really?
So yeah, so we're in the Swickley Valley campus. I do get asked sometimes, hey, where's that studio? Where do you guys film?
Yeah.
It's in Swickley Valley at this location. I walked in and they have this little Scrabble board. It'll give you like either a scripture or the topic of the sermon. And they had on there the topic of the sermon that I didn't preach. I was originally, the document said I was supposed to, and I wrote this document. So interesting discussion there. But I was supposed to talk about the spies.
Yeah.
I mean, I talked about Rahab and that whole, angle of the story, Joshua chapter 2. And I was supposed to talk about the spies because they're very gracious in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
They could have just not kept their word. So I thought there was something there. But Monday, as I began my intentional prep, I just got a sense, from the Lord, like this isn't where I was supposed to be. And then Joshua 5 was where I was supposed to land. So it was a fun journey this week. But always that moment where you got to make a decision. And I got to now go to Joshua 5 or linger in Joshua chapter 2. So I'm thankful.
What primarily about Joshua 5 really stood out to you?
So as I was reading about it, certainly in the beginning, there's the circumcision and the re-celebrating of the Passover. But I felt like the circumcision part, we talked about that with consecration. So there's definitely a unique marking there that the Old Testament had, and the New Testament. It's really awesome to look at that as Paul really steps on the scene and starts to talk about, there's no difference, Jew or Gentile, male or female. We're in Christ. So those were a couple of areas, but like this is a pretty dramatic moment, and it felt to me like, so before they started doing Joshua 6 and on the battles, this felt like one more faith moment in Joshua's response, and so it really just piqued my curiosity, and I felt like the Spirit was saying, this is where you need to camp. This is where you need to go. So that was a fun Monday journey last week. I made a liar out of whoever put the board up here in Swickley.
They're out there trying to be prepared ahead of time.
That's my fault. It's usually my fault. So
I think everyone will survive that the board doesn't say the exact same thing.
I bet you most people didn't even know that was on the board.
That is probably true.
That's okay.
Okay. Well, you started, I thought what was so interesting to me was the part about Joshua interacting with the visitor and really his question of the visitor and how the visitor responds. Yeah. But you taught that the questions we ask reveal our perspective. What do you think are some of the most common default questions you see Christians ask when they face a challenge?
I think, God, why is this? Where are you in this? God, when will you stop this? Those are probably the 3 I hear the most. Sort of like I'm facing a Jericho or a challenge, if you will, and why aren't you doing something about it? Why are you letting it persist? So I think that's a common question that we have. And again, so I shared some of my questions. I just identified some areas, financially, interpersonally with relationship, parenting. Isn't that one? Why won't you just listen to me?
Sure.
Please just listen to me. The questions aren't bad. Like, I don't know if I stressed that enough. I wasn't trying to say like, hey, Joshua asked a good question. Yeah. I would have asked that question too. Sure. But I think there's just a question before that to ask, that this moment and this interaction with this man with a drawn sword. It wasn't, I never want us to feel ashamed for the questions that we ask. Because it was a good question. A lot of times, like, it does make sense to say to your kids, why won't you just listen to me? It would be better for you if you listen to me. It's not about my ego. It's about your safety. It's about your protection. I have made this mistake. You don't have to make it. That sort of a deal. So, yeah, the questions aren't bad. Joshua wasn't asking a bad question. Sure. but this interaction with this man with a drawn sword, I love it. And I love the answer, no. It was just, that's so telling and pointed and
right. Well, I think that's so interesting
amazing.
because he asks a question that's kind of like, are you this or this? And the answer is like neither.
Yeah.
And I think
it was interesting what translation you grew up reading.
Yeah.
The ESV is no, but I was used to neither in the NIV. So it's interesting. Yeah.
I think just interesting that like he went into it thinking he was going to get, there were only two options to this question.
Yeah.
And that God had a totally different answer than what he even thought was an option of the two. It's just kind of an interesting thing to think about.
Yeah, there's a little bit of too the way that his question gets answered, but it's the path to get there is Joshua, be for God, be on God's side, and God is for you. So, yeah.
Okay, so Joshua's there looking into Jericho.
Did you get the Dwight Schrute translation, Jack?
Yes, I did.
Did you get that?
And actually, my 11-year-old, who has never even seen The Office ever, just thought that was so funny. And he was like, maybe I should watch that show.
You know who that was for?
Like, not yet. I feel like that's Sandy Weiss.
Oh, it was absolutely for Sandy Weiss. Sandy,
yeah.
discipleship director, Dormont campus. I got to interact with her on Wednesday. I saw her. We talked. And it's just like anytime I can throw an Office reference in as a tribute to Sandy, I love Sandy. She is awesome.
Yeah.
Wonderful person. And so, Sandy, that was for you. I don't know if you're listening, but
I'm sure she knew
little
in
Office
her heart
translation.
when you made
I should
the
send her a
joke.
text.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I was debating whether I was going to ask you this question or not, because I think it's a tough one, but it's also kind of just the elephant in the room a little bit. Anytime we talk about Jericho, I think, and I don't know that everyone would feel this way, but I do know there is like the sense of, wait, what is happening? Sometimes we talk about Jericho and we were taught Jericho as a children's story of like, isn't that so cool? The walls came down and lots of people died. And then when you step back as an adult and think about, no, these were real people and with real consequences. And how do I reconcile God's protection and provision for the Israelites here with also this other people group facing destruction? Would you be open to speaking to that? I just think, how do we think about this? I think this is one of the...
It's a hard thing to wrestle down.
It's probably one of the primary questions. A lot of times when I'm talking to people who are struggling with faith, this is kind
I love the God of the New Testament.
Yeah, this
I'm
is
great
one of the biggest things.
Jesus and post, but how do we deal with this?
Yeah.
So, hard topic. And I agree with you. Everything you're saying. I made a joke with you earlier. Allison did give me a preview. It's the only question I think you've given me a preview on. But I said, well, so that's why we stopped in Joshua 5, because we didn't want to have to handle this. That's not why. It was just a, breaking point in the year and in the series. Certainly hard thing to reconcile. If you're wrestling with this, don't feel ashamed. Don't feel bad. I wrestle with it. I think it's like, you're right. How do you make sense of the plan? Go and take the land, right? There are things though to shape our perspective in this, because I read a good bit about this. So I'll throw out a couple of things, and I can't say I have it fully reconciled.
Sure.
I'll just maybe work my way through this. And if you need to pause me.
Yeah, please.
The wrath of God is a real thing. And so any people who, because God is holy, any people group, and that includes the Israelites in the Old Testament. So one of the things that was like, oh yeah, don't forget this. God's people were exiled. They were punished.
Yeah.
The whole generation died in the wilderness. They didn't get to the promised land.
Yeah.
So in some ways, just like there was a consistent question in this series, what's that song? God's wrath is not, and like his salvation isn't like, it's not inconsistent. Like he punished his people as well. And so there's something about the wickedness of the people groups in the promised land that are experiencing judgment. But I also look at, so why is Rahab tucked in there at the beginning of this chapter?
Yeah.
It shows me that the story of God was spread, the God of Israel. And people did have an opportunity to turn and respond, because Rahab did. And I believe anyone who turns to God is saved. The Bible is clear about that. And so Rahab is a non-Israelite. She's not Jewish. She turned, she professes faith in the Lord, and salvation comes on her and her household. Not everyone made a profession. She did, from what we know about. So that shed some hope to me to realize, okay, judgment was going to happen for the Israelites, and it already just did happen. That, like, the reason circumcision happened, because there was a whole generation that hadn't been marked. They hadn't been circumcised. And so we can't ignore that. And then I also read something, and this blew my mind a little bit, and I want to say this maybe carefully, but I think we have to talk about this. There was a way in which language was used in the Old Testament. And so when you hear of the phrase, just for lack of a better word, complete and utter destruction, there are a lot of scholars who believe that was more figurative than literal.
Battle language.
Like the way kings would write tributes to themselves, they would make themselves look bigger and more fuller in terms of their conquest and their feats in battles. So there are a lot of what I read said that didn't mean every single person was brought to destruction from Jericho and from the other cities. We ultimately don't know.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't know. That does make sense to me.
Well, I think there are places, again, when you read scripture, it is important to think about what type of writing is this? Is this a narrative? Is it a war story?
The book of Revelation.
Sure.
It's not as literal, I think, as we like to think that it is.
Yeah. And so I think I probably would argue that Joshua is using hyperbole intentionally within the book, as sort of a battle. Because there's places where you even see that language of like utter destruction, and then of a town, and then you see the Israelites go in there, and there's people there.
And then the people group shows up later on in the Old Testament. Yeah, I would land there too.
Yeah.
And so those would be a couple of things off the top of my head from my studies this week that say, it's a hard thing, but it's a harder thing to ignore the penalty of sin, of all sin, before a holy God, and the wages of sin. This is New Testament, and we have Jesus, so there's a way for everybody, and it's clear and it's proclaimed. But the wages of sin is death, and so that is consistent from Genesis all the way to the maps in the back, and that's a hard thing when you hear God is love. That's a hard thing to come to terms with and say, so why can't it just be love and easy for all? Because God is also in his loving nature, he also has justice in his nature, and sin has to be atoned for. So those would be some thoughts that I have to reconcile that. And I'm sure there's more reading and research. You talked about a couple of specific resources.
I feel like I mentioned the Bible Project a lot on here, but there is a great article by the Bible Project on this that is not too lengthy and an easy way to kind of begin to just a starting place, I think, if this is something you want to study. So we can link it on the show notes here as well. Yeah. When I was thinking,
there's a prayerful place in that too.
Oh, for sure.
So what if this is a challenge for people? Like this idea of, God, how do I reconcile wrath and complete and utter destruction? And like those people seem so innocent. I don't believe they were necessarily innocent because they weren't worshiping God in terms of sin and sacrifice for sins. And the story of God was spreading, evidenced by Rahab. But if this is a struggle place for you, the response Joshua had, if this is your Jericho, the same process applies. God, here's how I see this. Will you help me to see it?
Yeah.
Will you lead me by your Spirit to understand and know more about you and hear from you as I open your word and read through the scriptures? So it's an interesting angle to take. I wasn't thinking about that, but like right now, this could be a Jericho. Yeah. This idea. I keep going like this, like I'm going to build walls. I need Legos here to build a set of walls. So
most people can't see you, but you're moving your arms. You're building a wall.
Oh, if you're listening, my hand gestures are suggesting a wall being built. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm reading.
I'm glad you brought that up
now. Well, good, because I think it's just like always kind of there. And I'm reading The Horse and His Boy, one of the Narnia stories with my boys right now. And so it's kind of one of the lesser known Narnia.
I was going to say, yeah.
But there's this scene in the book where, so this boy gets this talking horse from Narnia. I'm going to see if I can tell the story without it sound. I'm going to,
it's C.S. Lewis
says it so much more beautifully than I'm about to do it. Wow. But so this boy Shasta gets a horse and is trying to flee from a land of oppression to get to Narnia. And on the journey, he meets, and he's had a really hard life. He's grown up without parents. He's had all of these things that
the boy or the horse?
The boy. And the horse, really, actually, have come together. Yes, both.
I meant without parents.
And it's a talking horse. So, he's a free horse of Narnia who's been captured and taken to this land of oppression.
Yeah.
So, in the journey, he meets another girl, Aravis, who's also fleeing and also has a horse. And so they join up forces, and there's all kinds of trials they go through in the process. Anyway, they realize on their way to Narnia that another kingdom is coming to bring destruction to Narnia, and they have to get there to Narnia before the other kingdom can, so that they can warn, Susan and Edmund and those people that they're coming. Lucy, that they're coming.
Peter.
Yeah. So anyway, on the journey, Aravis has come from a pretty privileged family. Shasta's come from nothing. But they're both running away. And on the journey, they're met in the night with a lion chasing them. And this lion and their fear, everyone's fear goes way up. The horses are at their end of the journey. They're all at exhaustion. They've been traveling across the desert. But they run as fast as they can to try to make it. And it makes me emotional just even telling the story. I'm like reading this book to my kids, like crying, and they're like, we don't get it. What's wrong? But because you're understanding the allegory. Sure. So in the process, the lion swipes at Aravis and kind of wounds her back. And it makes Shasta jump down, defend her. And they kind of like get to where they need to, basically the process, they all get to where they need to be. Aravis is taken care of. Shasta has to get off the horse and keep running and running and running. And finally, he just breaks down and is like, why does everything bad happen to me? Everything has gone wrong. All of this stuff has happened. Aravis is at least being taken care of, and I still have to go on this journey on my own. And he's just feeling really a lot of pity for himself.
Yeah.
When a lion comes back, but it's dark and he can't see the lion, and the lion begins to talk to him. And, you're realizing this is Aslan.
It's a different lion?
And so, no, it's the same lion.
So the lion that swiped.
The lion that wounded them is the same lion who is Aslan. And so he's having this conversation with Aslan of like, nothing has gone right for me. And he's like, and the lion is like, well, I'm the one that made your horses run faster. I'm the one who got you. Like, he's like pointing out all these places in his life that felt really hard, where it was actually for his good.
But it was hard.
And so then Shasta says, well, but why, if you're good, why would you wound Aravis? And he just says, well, I don't tell other people's stories. That's for Aravis. And it's just this sweet, I kind of think about it in this moment of like, it is really hard for us to understand, but there was intent of good for Aravis in that as well. And so just this bigger picture of how the Lord, we're reading this story of Jericho from the perspective of the Israelites, and we don't have privy to the story from the perspective of the Canaanites, if that makes sense. But I believe that God is still the God for the Canaanites.
And there could be other Rahabs not listed and mentioned that we don't know about.
Yeah.
And the scriptures, just like Narnia is not a story of Edmund and Peter, and it's a story of God.
Yeah.
Right? And the Bible is really a story revealing to us who God is. I love that. I love that picture that he is unique and personal and loving, and I believe wooing every human being to respond to him and to place faith in him. Everyone, Jew and Gentile alike.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But it's a place of reconciliation. It's a place of wrestling with God.
For sure. Yeah.
In that.
Yeah.
Joshua's an awesome and hard book.
Yeah.
And it ends in a really beautiful, beautiful place as well.
Yeah.
So.
Well, thanks for going there. I know that's a tricky topic.
Sure. I actually spent, so that was something that I just didn't have time with where the sermon was developing. And on unfolding. But I did spend time on that picture of identifying, to the best of my knowledge, who that was. And I believe it was Jesus, like the Christophany piece. So I wanted to spend a little bit more time there in light of where I was going ultimately. But I'm glad you asked the question.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I kind of hinted at this, but I love the part where Josh was talking to the visitor. We talked about the no. I'm curious, can we lean in there just a little bit more, kind of come back to that? How do you think that the commander of the army, well, you also talked about how this is a Christophany. We're seeing really Christ here.
That's what I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do you have more to say?
Not everybody is in agreement there.
Yeah.
Like in terms of
who it is.
Yeah. Commentaries and biblical scholarship. And that's okay. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, it's a divine intervention from God saying, hey, let's think differently. Mm-hmm. Let's see this differently. Mm-hmm. But I believe it was Jesus. Mm-hmm. So.
Similar to like wrestling of Jacob.
And who was the fourth person in the fire?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it was Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Could be the Holy Spirit, right?
Yeah. God's presence in
God's
some
presence.
capacity.
Thrinity.
Yeah.
They're all connected.
That's right. Yeah, that is true.
It's 3 in 1. Yeah.
So I'm curious though, how do you think, how does the visitor's no, help us reframe the battle with Jericho? And also, how does it also help us reframe maybe our own battles with those who we would view as our enemies or disagreements with other people?
I think that no is an invitation to see this from God's perspective, and everything changes from how I view my friends, my family, to my enemies, my critics. Even your son, who could have given me a 10, he left 1.5 on the table. I got to go after that 1.5. When I see those people through God's eyes, I respond to them differently. Mm-hmm. And so I think that no is exactly what your question is driving at what I'm saying. Our challenges have to be seen from spiritual eyes as we walk with the Spirit, because that's the only way forgiveness makes sense. Let's talk about one of the hardest things. Why are holidays so hard? Because there's hurt in our families, and there's unforgiveness there, and there's years of bitterness and callousness, and where that gap of misunderstanding of why you did that, or what I heard that you did or said about me, and I don't know for sure, we fill that gap over time with more and more suspicion, and our hearts get cemented on that. The only reason why I would forgive is I see you the way God sees you, as in need of mercy, mm-hmm. as another spiritual being as mm-hmm. well. I think it reframes us, not just to understand and see me as a spiritual being having a physical experience, but you are too, Allison. Mm-hmm. And so you are on a journey to be discipled, to be more like Jesus, and so am I. Mm-hmm. And I think that no is a pause. It's a refrain. I think that no is also, for me, a remembrance of my sin and my need for God. That's where I think, as followers of Jesus, we grow prideful and arrogant, and sometimes more attached to the things of this world than the things of heaven and of spiritual, when we forget our need for God and the grace that we have received and we still desperately need. Mm-hmm. And so that's what that no screams to me in a lot of ways, is look at it differently, see it through my eyes. Yeah.
How do you help yourself practically pause? I think that is such a hard thing to do, because we do have a natural reaction to things. And what are some things you've done to help yourself grow in that? To really evaluate, how am I seeing this?
I think the lack of pause is often when we're driven by our emotions and our feelings. And so I preach a lot of similar lines because they're so impactful and formative in my life. Our feelings aren't supposed to be our masters. Mm-hmm. They're not supposed to drive all of us. And yet our world is built around the idea of, well, Allison, how do you feel? Go chase it. Go pursue it. Mm-hmm. That's your right. That's your truth. And so the longer, the more, the closer, any other word that ends in ER towards Jesus we get, the less driven by our feelings we are. Yeah. And so walking with the Spirit slows us down and says, there's a voice example, right? Your son gives me an 8.5. There's a voice that's saying, that's not personal. Seriously.
Yeah.
Because I'm an achiever. I want a 10. Like, if I didn't get a 10, what do I got to do to get a 10? How do I get a 10? I want to win. I want to get an A. Right? That's what school was for me. It was like, get an A.
Show a Minecraft clip or something. I don't know.
I was watching a Minecraft video with my son yesterday. I am such a Minecraft, like hidden Minecraft person. But like, one of the evidence is this isn't like in Galatians 5, but one of the fruits of the Spirit is like, we aren't in such a rush. That idea of being slow to speak, more quick to listen, that happens the more we pursue the Lord and spend time with the Lord, and he forms us and he changes us. It's every single day. It's every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What if you feel
and I think we need to help others with that.
Yeah.
Because let's say, I paused because we are friends.
Yeah.
But let's say you were frustrated and venting to me. My responsibility as an ambassador to Christ is to help you like hear a no.
Yeah.
Allison, you might be looking at this the wrong way. Yeah. What they said hurt. What if it wasn't personal?
Yeah.
But a lot of times what we do is they're an idiot.
Yeah.
They are so mean, and you're not going to believe what I heard. We feed that more than we shut it down. I think the commander of the Lord's army right there is also showing us to one another of how to redirect and reframe. I can hold space for your feelings and your hurt and your pain. And I need to do that as a brother in Christ. But at the same time, as a brother in Christ, I also need to say, like, Allison, there's a better way. Like, bitterness is not the best. There's a different path. Bitterness leads to death. And so, maybe if this sermon was preached over the course of 3 weeks, we would talk about the communal nature and response we have to one another to not let us all be led by our feelings. Yeah. It's really hard, but I think it's so needed for us to pause and say, have you paused and worshiped yet? Have you taken this to the Lord spiritually? When someone comes at my kids, man, I come out. Like, I get angry. The flesh side of me just rises up, and I want to defend, and I want to put them in their place. And those are some of those moments where I need Brooke to say, hey, let's slow down. Let's see this spiritually. We need each other to do that more in our lives.
Yeah, yeah. And I do deeply, it can feel good in the moment to have someone just affirm what you're feeling. But I do deeply want someone to say, neither. No, slow down.
We need it.
Yeah. I think that is
Yeah.
wisdom, and I look for that in friendship for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
What if you feel like, okay, someone's looking at their current challenge, they're realizing, oh, I got this wrong. I did react to something in the flesh or in my nature.
Yeah.
What do I do now?
We can't do anything about the past, right? So you can't go back and I had something yesterday that surfaced, and I'm like, oh gosh, I wish I would have led differently. But when I was leading in the moment, it wasn't intentional. It wasn't like I'm doing this on purpose to cause frustration or pain or chaos. And so what do I do in those moments? Repent and just start to walk like as Joshua did, to ask the Lord, to submit, to pray. That picture of, instead of I have a problem, will you have my problem? And so now the problem isn't just the Jericho, but it's also how do I seek forgiveness? How do I communicate an apology that's sincere and meaningful in this way? That's what you do. We turn and we honor the Lord in that moment, and we restore relationships, and we do everything we can, so far as it depends on us, to be at peace with our brothers and sisters. Yeah. But there's goodness there.
Yeah, in realizing and turning. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. God's kindness leads us to repentance.
Yeah.
And so it is just like that story of Aslan. Like, we all have like a turning to God. He's doing something in all of our hearts. He really is. And I know my fear this weekend was, okay, I'm going to get to the end. And as it fleshed out, I'm going to tell a personal, heartfelt story about me and Gino and being his dad. And then I'm going to give 3 things that are like, oh, there's the generic answer. God's teaching us about him. He's transforming us to be like Jesus. And he wants us to tell other people about him. But that's the truth. That's what he's doing universally across the board. That's what discipleship is. It's a journey to not read a book and finish it, or to know the difference between a theophany and a Christophany. Those are great, but really is what is that teaching us about God and his character? Because when the more we know his character, this was in my notes and I never said it, the more aware of and intimate we are with his character, the more we trust him.
Yeah.
The more you know someone,
sure,
the easier it is to trust them. So,
well, this is your last time, I think, on the podcast for this sermon series.
Forever?
For this.
Am I uninvited moving forward?
Let me move that clause towards the beginning of the sentence.
That clause and that pause.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are landing the plane, right?
For this sermon series.
Yeah.
Yeah, we only have one more, I think.
Yeah.
And then we're into
And I know
Advent.
everyone's gonna be a little bit disappointed, maybe fuss a little bit, but stress and rest is a great way to think about a lot of things. Like, we're gonna take a break because we need a break.
Yeah.
And you'll be that much more excited when we come back, I believe in February. We're gonna do a new teaching series then about the church.
Yeah.
And what the Bible tells us about the church, the body, the bride. So I'm the ecclesia. So I'm super excited about that. I think it's so needed and formative in our at this time for our church. But before then, we're going to pray and fast.
Yeah.
In January. So super pumped about that. And man, I am so excited also. I know this sounds like announcement boy. You're podcast girl. I'm announcement boy right now. But I'm really excited about Christmas at Northway. This is where we change gears. Are we over time? Whatever. They can turn it off.
What is
time?
I
always say that. What is time? So I love, so Christmas used to be at my last church, and that was a season in the Big C church where there was a show, there was an attraction, there was this outreach, and like where we're at now is there's like a slowing down, a more sacred candlelights and tradition, and I love it. Like last year was, out of all of my times at Northway and at my previous church, was probably my favorite Christmas Eve service. It was just so beautiful.
Yeah.
And there's going to be candlelights again, and I think there's some like special choir moments. So man, don't miss it. Don't miss this moment to worship the Lord with the church community, but also like slow down and like disengage from the hustle and bustle and pressurized thing that Christmas is.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be that. So light and longing. I'm super excited to we're going to be looking at John, the Gospel of John, not often the lens of the birth of Jesus that you look through. So in the beginning was the Word. Yeah. So pumped.
Yeah, me too. I'm very excited. Ready to get past Thanksgiving, right? And get to
Come on, Allison.
It all comes back.
Come on, Allison.
No, I'm excited for Thanksgiving this week. But hey, as we land this plane, though, I did want to say, since it is your last time in this series, maybe we could close with what is the thing that has either you will most take away from the series, or that you would hope our church takes away from the series?
Yeah. No, I got emotional. That picture of consecration is what's like, I have a longing in my heart for our church to be a consecrated people in a community before the Lord, to really to seek cleansing, to be people of sacrifice for Him, toward Him, and to dedicate our pursuits to Him. That and the stones of remembrance, those are marker moments in my life. Like that was I get tired on a Sunday. I was exhausted after that sermon, in like over and over and over again, telling the story, but reflecting on God in my life through those hard moments, those lonely seasons, those wilderness times. So those are my big takeaways, is this call, an invitation to live consecrated to the Lord, but also in remembrance and reflection of who He is, and have confidence that who he was then is who He's going to be now, to my kids as well, in light of what I shared this weekend. So I love the picture of the wilderness, the Exodus, the wilderness, and the Promised Land, because I'm so often somewhere in that, and maybe at 3 spots at different areas of my life: marriage, parenting, how I view calling and career. So, yeah. It's been it feels fresh to me. It has felt fresh for our church. And it was one of those series where I'm like, where are we going, God? Why is this really what you're directing us to do? I had a couple other concepts worked up, but I'm like at peace in my heart and thrilled that this was for me, for our church. Cause I go to church here. I say that a lot. I don't know if people understand or get my meaning. Like when Amanda and John and Pastor Scott and our campus pastors teach, I'm there like, Lord, what are you saying to me? Like, I'm there to listen and to learn. And, yeah, I think it's been great.
Great. Well, thank you, Dave.
Thanks.
It's great to get to sit under your teaching. We appreciate you. Thankful for you this holiday season.
And thankful for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and Thanksgiving
I need to hear you say that.
I'm thankful for Thanksgiving.
You didn't mean that. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. See ya.